Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member, for this important hearing. And thank you to our witnesses as well for your service and for being here. I'm going to get right to the specific point that's addressed in legislation that I've introduced, an amendment to the act before we reauthorize it, that I've introduced with Senator Coons. To be clear, the result, what resulted in this is the fact that as important as this program is, and it is important, and I strongly support it, neither North Dakota nor Delaware received any of the funds, despite a very, very good application, particularly the one I'm most familiar with, the state of North Dakota, through the North Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs. Important, I stress, the North Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs, because of the 5 criteria, that meets 5 of them. The 5 criteria for the grant, and so we're a little disappointed, of course, that North Dakota's application was rejected. I don't know if it was not qualified, but at least wasn't prioritized. And so I want to, I'd like to have you, maybe explain to me a little bit about why that happened. And then also, we received the testimony yesterday that the VA is opposing my language and my amendment. And I just want to give you an opportunity to explain that before I try to explain my position better.
Great. Thank you, Senator. And while I can't speak to the specifics of that individual grant application, and the decision to it. I think it's important. First, thank you for your support of this. It's support that we're very appreciative of, and we share in our need and want and desire to really grow this program and grow these efforts. I think our challenge and our concern with an approach to increasing the number of grantees, which we acknowledge is important and it's an essential aspect to being able to reach more veterans, engage more veterans, and get more veterans into care and services, is going to be, it's a shared objective. Having 2 potentially different or a prioritized pathway would be difficult to logistically administer if we have 2 tiers. Our larger concern is that we want to make sure that all of the projects and all of the grants that are being approved are meeting a high quality universal standard. And our concern was we do not want to create 2 standards for how a grant would be approved.
And I appreciate all of that. I would state, however, that in the case of states, and just to be so that people know what our bill does, every State Counts Act, it recognizes that a couple of states didn't receive funds from the program, and we want to prioritize states that haven't received funds previously. It's a one-time deal. We want to get these other states in the loop, so to speak, and then clear the deck. Particularly very rural states. I mean, North Dakota is a big state, 350 by about 200 miles, rectangle in the middle of the North American continent, literally. We have a monument to prove it. And a lot of miles between veterans, but 55,000 of them that need this service. We think that's pretty important criteria. I've done this before with other bills. Senator Heinrich and I did something similar when the discretionary grant programs at the Department of Transportation weren't reaching some rural states. We fixed that, got them back in the loop, and it's worked out very well. I would just state that particularly, again, I've read the objections. Some of them reference, multiple applicants within a state, the competitive nature, all the things that you've highlighted. But I think when it comes to an entire state, regardless of the small population, it is, after all, why there are 2 senators from every one of them, that every state does matter. Our founders made sure that. I just think it's worth fixing in a way that prioritizes states that have not received funding previously, and just adding that as it's not complicated. I know the testimony says it's complicated. It's not complicated. It's very simple, and we want to make it simple. If we make it simpler, we'd like to do that.
Thank you, Senator. And we agree. We are very interested in working with the committee to figure out a good way to approach it because we share that same
And objective. I suspect more resources would be helpful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. I yield 10 seconds since we're keeping track.